All right, what's up, TMG partners? I am so excited today about the TMG podcast because we have our first carrier representative on our podcast, and I want to welcome Demetri from GTL. Hey, Demetri, how's it going, man? Good morning.
Hey, Mike. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Awesome, awesome. We are so excited to have Demetri here. We talk so much about the importance of the carrier relationships in this industry because there are partners as well. And when we think about partnerships that we've had with carriers and continuously build with carriers, we our relationship with GTL and Demetri is one that goes way back. The success that we've had with their products, that our partners have had with their products, it kind of speaks for themselves. But, as we gear up for AEP, we're a couple of weeks away from AEP. I wanted to bring Demetri on here because his product portfolio and GTL's product portfolio is the perfect fit for brokers and seniors heading into Medicare. But before we get kicked into that, Demetri, tell us about you. Tell us about GTL. Tell us the story, man. I want to hear all about you.
Oh, my gosh. Do we have that much time that I can talk?
Go for it.
Well, yeah, Mike, the relationship that we've had with TMG and I've had with TMG, it is very special for me because it's been a long standing one. And, you guys, I really do consider you guys like my family down there in Raleigh. So I do appreciate everything that you guys do. Without you guys, we were not going to be able to do what we're doing. You guys do a great job. I mean, one of the things I think about when I think about TMG and the conversations that we've had over the years and changing my vocabulary, quite frankly, from that word ancillary to complementary,
Sure.
and that's a big change in our world, and I think a lot of people out there today are calling the products that GTL offers complementary products versus ancillary because of what you guys are doing in your market in particular, but then got me to believe in it too. So that's awesome. I'm an old dog, man. I'm an old dog that's learning new tricks. So
shout out to Chad Wilkerson on that one. That is his baby. So Chad, if you're listening, shout out to you, man. But thank you, Demetri. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. From my perspective about me, a lot of you guys that know me, I've been in the business now with GTL for 18 years. And, got a family of 2 boys and my wife that, we're super busy. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm very much into hockey, especially with my kids. And, so we're very, very busy with that, very blessed with that in terms of, get to do that enjoy the time with the kids and all that. I think that's obviously, as we all probably agree, it's one of the important things is have family time and be able to do, to be able to do the balance between what we do for a living and what we do for to live, with our families and such. So, from a GTL perspective, I can tell you that, we've got, when I started here, we started being a different company than what we are today, quite frankly. We really made a transition in 2004, 2005, when the MA market came up and everyone was talking about MAs. And we're like going, whoa, what's this MA thing? And I think a lot of people were kind of talking that way. And next thing you know, we start talking to folks, the partners and such. And we go, well, what is the opportunity here for you, the agent, and for the insured? It wasn't even really us focused per se. It was really more for what could really help you, the agent. And I don't use that word agent too often. I'm more of the mindset that you're at advisors versus agents.
Love that.
Because the advisor to me, you're an educator. You're helping people understand the complex world of Medicare because we all know it's complex.
Yep.
And so we learned in 2005 that there was a lot of copays in the Medicare Advantage market, and there's obviously the maximum out of pocket exposure that is Medicare Advantage, right? So we came up with this little product that nobody ever heard of back then called Advantage Plus. And the whole concept behind the product really is that, hey, let's do something that can help clients take care of the bigger out-of-pocket exposure that they're going to have and be able to cover those for a small premium. And when we say small premium, we're talking about, somewhere in the neighborhood between $20 to $60 a month. It's a fair premium. And then when we consider, the other options that were available, Medicare supplements and such, $20 $20 to $60 a month was really kind of an easy conversation for the advisors to have, to be able to talk about the plan, talk about, cross-selling and talking complementary products, because it made a lot of sense. So we've been doing this now for 17 years. So that's the whole point of why I started that conference, go down that rabbit hole. But, 17 years of experience, because I know, a lot of people will ask us, well, why should we write with GTL? Well, first off, all we do really is complementary products. That's our niche. That's what we're really good at. Simplified issue products. We've got long tenured experience in that market from a product building and processing perspective, but also from a claims paying perspective. And so when you're thinking about, when you're offering a product to your clients, what's one of the things you were really concerned with? How easy is the claim process?
Yeah. Yes.
That's big.
Yes, it's huge.
So with us, our claim process, we really streamlined it down from what it was back in 2005 to what it is today. It really is literally a 3-page claim packet. And really, it's only a 2-pager. The first page is just a checklist that says, here's what you need to submit with your claim, so you can make sure you file it properly. Then the second page, which is what the client completes, would be just a simple name, date, name, date, and so forth, and doctor's name, and then they sign it. And then a HIPAA form signature, which we all know we all need HIPAA because we got to make sure we're compliant. And then if you're hospitalized, you get a UBO4 form and then submit that with it, or if an ambulance bill or whatever the case may be, whatever you're trying to file a claim for. That's what we try to do, is try to make this simpler. I know, Mike, you're really big into the techie, being technology and all that kind of stuff. You probably, hopefully you agree with me, but I think our technology over the years has been top of the line technology.
First class.
From an EF perspective, mobile app, we have some little extra tools that we've kind of created along just more recently, like fill the gaps tools. So if you're not familiar with a MA plan in a particular area, you can just put in the zip code for that client and ask them what the carrier name is, what the plan name is, and you'll be able to see right there on your screen what the major copays are on that MA plan, and then we can tell you right next to that what our hospital indemnity copays are going to look like too. So we try to make it real simple and easy for you, and another reason why you want to consider complementary products with GTL is that during this time of year, what is the biggest thing that we run short of when we're out there running around, burning up gas and so forth?
Time.
Exactly. This does not take a lot of time to do. This is a very simple process, but also some of us may run short of some dollars too.
Yeah, that's right.
So, because the nice thing about complementary products is that you get paid as you write it, even during AVP.
Beautiful. Yes. Demetri, I started in the industry in 2011. And I remember 2016, I think it was AEP 2015. When I first met you, you were in the Raleigh office. You knew that we were in the Medicare space, and I'll never forget this about you. You came in and you looked at the entire team here at Tidewater, and you were like, you guys are missing the boat. Y'all are missing it. And here's my challenge to you. And I will never forget this, Demetri, because I felt like you looked at me and I was like, okay, I can't let this man down. I can't let him down. He was like, you said, just challenge all of your brokers to bring it up at the appointment. Just challenge them just to bring it up. Whether or not they sell it or not, that is completely up to the consumer, but just bring it up in the appointment. And you look back at me and you said, I guarantee you guys will grow with us if you challenge all of your partners. And I took that to heart. I was like, you know what? This man just flew all the way down from Chicago to meet with us, to tell us this story. And all he said was, we just need to challenge our broker partners to offer it. I was like, challenge accepted. And man, I am so happy you challenged us to that, because we took your advice and we challenged all of our brokers to just present it. Like, hey, just present it in the appointment and see what happens. And I think that's kind of what really propelled us to just do what we do now with you all. And it's part of our story when we train our partners is, look, GTL is a phenomenal portfolio of products, but if you don't present it in the appointment, you'll never sell it. And I remember Ronnie James bringing up Ronnie here. Ronnie's like, you know what? It's our job to minimize risk. And Ronnie's the first one will tell you he was not a big fan of complementary products years ago. And it was a lot of his false pretenses of my client can't afford it. They can't afford the $20 to $60 per month. Let me tell you something. Ronnie James wears that GTL flag with pride now.
Yes, he does.
He loves y'all.
We love him too, though. So that
He's
goes back
awesome. But, I look back on our relationship, Demetri, and that challenge that you presented us with, I really feel like that was the kick in the butt we needed. And we're like, oh, we can do that. We can challenge people. And it really helps. So let's segue into our next question, man. Let's segue.
Sure.
We got 2 weeks for AEP, right? 2 more weeks. Why should GTL be a part of every Medicare broker's presentation? Why GTL?
The hospital indemnity conversation is it's an important one. Just as important about talking about MA. I kind of look at it, and I'm not saying that this is a supplement to Medicare Advantage plans. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But when we work with other types of health plans, we automatically will talk about, well, how about this type of plan? To help cover those copays. It's the same thing that you should be doing with the MA side of the world, because a $300 a day copay or $350, whatever that number is for 5, 6, 7 days. If someone's in the hospital, let's just make it for simple math, $300 a day for 6 days, that's $1,800 that person's going to be out of pocket.
Yeah.
And then I understand most of the clients out there today, the average savings that they have in their accounts are somewhere between $8,000 to $10,000. Mm-hmm. And I know when I'm saving money, it's not to be able to save money to be able to go pay for copays and max them out of pocket. And I'm sure your clients aren't either. Yeah. They're probably wanting that $8,000 to $10,000 to use for other things that they've been wanting to do for their, during their retirement years, whatever that case may be. So that's one thing. We've got to make sure we take care of the exposure, like Ronnie always says. We've got to cover the exposure. The exposure is what's going to hurt our clients. And especially so the plans that we're talking about, the big exposures are going to be hospitalization, ambulance, because that's a very inexpensive rider, lump sum cancer riders is a must add because of the 20% radiation chemotherapy, copay on the Part B drugs, skilled nursing. It's another big exposure, because think about what that $160, $70, $80 a day from days 21 to 100, what does that equal to? Let's do the quick math on that. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, adds up.
So why should we talk about hospital indemnity? Because it makes sense. It's completing the coverage, it's completing the loop. And quite frankly, I can tell you, GTL's hospital indemnity, I think we've done a really good job of creating the first hospital indemnity plan and made changes along the way. And the most recent changes that we made was back in September of last year, when we had announced our Advantage Plus Elite product. The Advantage Plus Elite product we came out with and said, okay, hey, look, you know what? We've been doing this for a long time. I think we've learned some things. Let's make some good changes to this plan. So what are the changes we made? Well, one of the changes was we changed our underwriting questions to be a 3-month look back for hospitalization stays. So why do we do that? Because we want to get more people covered and qualified. Our ER benefit, we included an urgent care benefit as part of the emergency benefit. So that's $150 for ER or urgent care because of accident with us. So every 60 days that would restore. No limits per year. So how many times do we restore? It just restores unlimited times, lifetime wise. We added some additional benefit periods on our base plan. So now you can go from a 1-day benefit period. So if you can do a little higher lump sum, if you have those MA plans out there that have on a admittance type of charge scenario, and then you can go from 3 days to 10 days and a 15-day option. We also changed some pricing on our outpatient surgical. I won't tell you that outpatient surgical is a must include, but if you can include it, it definitely makes sense because the pricing is just right for that particular rider. We also added an outpatient therapy rider, so now you got an option to be able to take care of $50 a day for some outpatient therapy procedures and 5 chiropractic visits. So we've added a lot of things there that could be very meaningful for the clients at the end of the day. I know in the last month and a half, when I saw Mike last week, I go, guys, I've been traveling a ton, and I've been talking to a lot of agents and advisors out there. And one of the things that I do hear from it, from folks that aren't completely bought into offering complementary products is that, well, it's hospital indemnity. It's not that big of a deal. I want to show you an example or tell you an example here of we have one individual that has gotten paid out of their hospital indemnity plan. They had their policy in force since 2009, just a little under $90,000 of total benefits paid to them.
Ooh.
That's incredible. I mean, that's an outlier too, right, Mike? It's an outlier, but
Still, it's a story.
it's a story. It's there's other people that have gotten 70, 50, 40,000, but for the everyday people like you and I, you know what? If my clients can get paid 5,000, 10,000, right, on benefits, your clients are going to be ecstatic with you in terms of happiness, right? That's what they're going to love you, and part of that love is going to mean that what? You're going to be able to ask for those golden tickets or referrals very easily.
That's right.
And that's all part of why we want to do complementary products. One thing I will point out real quick, Mike, is that sometimes a client's not going to qualify for hospital indemnity. That's okay, because it is going to happen. There's only 5 health questions. And by the way, we have a guarantee issue window.
Yes, sir.
From ages 64 and a half.
That's new.
Yep. Through age 67. So if the client reaches age 68, then it's too late.
Yeah. For
that GI wise. You still can get a policy by answering the health questions, which are very easy health questions, but we've got a lot of options there. But if they don't happen to qualify, pivot to something different. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty about what we get to do. We get to be creative in our business. That's what I love about this. I can take the person that qualify for hospital indemnity and say, well, I have a cancer plan that I can talk to you about to help cover your maximum out of pocket for the MA plan, at least if you get diagnosed with cancer at the very minimum. Or maybe a person's interested in short-term home health care. We'll talk about short-term home health care. And this way you can cover that home health care benefits, and you can add a hospital indemnity rider with our short-term home health care product. So there's a lot of things that we can do from a pivot perspective or just being creative in general. Yeah. I know, Mike, you asked me, when you told me, well, how else can you use your hospital indemnity plan? Well, you can use it with Medicare supplement plans. There's no rule that says hospital indemnity only has to be done with MAs.
Yeah.
As you understand the product, and I know this isn't a product training, I'm not going to get into that part of it, but
it's okay, man.
As you understand the way the riders work and the way the product works, you can find different little areas where various complementary products can work with, as long as they fit the issue age and parameters of getting the policy issued, you're good.
Yeah.
So that's what to me that's the most exciting part is I can start getting my creative juices flowing.
And Demetri, I think that exposing what you guys are offering, there's also another avenue that not a lot of people talk about, and this actually came up in our Raleigh seminar while you were there. Yes, it does help cover the hospital copays and all the other different benefits that you talked about here, but one of our broker partners in Raleigh said, the family members take advantage of it too. You think about it, if you've got somebody who's a senior and they go in the hospital for 7 days and they have a $300 per day benefit, that's $2,100. Well, what if their son or daughter lives out of state and they have to come in from out of town and take time off of work and pay for meals and hotels? I mean, the greatest part about indemnity plans is the check goes to the consumer. Right. So it doesn't have to just necessarily pay for the hospital bill. It could pay for husband, daughter, son, friend to take time off of work to come help care for that consumer. And, that's one thing Ronnie talks about a lot is these plans, they're great plans for the insured, but they also help out the family members. Because as Ronnie says, when somebody is in a hospital or dismissed from a hospital, the last thing you want them having to worry about is how to pay that bill. You want them to worry about how to get better, right? And if they don't have an indemnity plan, if they don't have a cancer plan, guess what? They're going to come home and they're going to have a big old fat bill waiting for them. Pay your hospital bill, pay your ambulance, pay your cancer. That is stressful, and it minimizes the risk, the financial burden. And I'm telling you, Demetri, the more we expose you to more people, the light bulb just clicks. And for anybody that's watching today, if you're thinking, oh, they can't afford it, oh, they can't do this, we're going to challenge you like we've challenged everybody else. Just present it and see what happens. Right? See what happens.
Absolutely. It's one of, I know we talked about it, the range of what the premium is. Yep. Something is better than nothing.
Yes.
You don't have to go with a full boat. You can just say, you know what? If you can only afford $22 a month, that's great. We'll cover hospitalization for you, not a problem. But kind of talking about what Ronnie was talking about, Mike, my favorite thing that he talks about is, one of my favorite things is that, indemnity products, you got to think about them that you don't have to match up with what that MA copay is today. You can give that person extra dollars because a lot of folks, if you're walking into their houses, what are you going to see pictures of, or you may see laying on the floor? Pets. What happens if the person has to kennel their pet?
What do you do with it?
What do you do, right? So if you got extra dollars from your hospital indemnity plan because it's $350, because let's say a $300 copay, you gave them $350 or $400 a day. So each day they're in hospital, extra $100 a day that they get, they can use that for their kenneling costs and so forth. We're very creative, guys. So definitely make sure you reach out, to the TMG, Tidewater Management Group, and they're very well informed about how to best use the products.
Yeah. Well, Demetri, so you mentioned something else too earlier on, and this is not a question we were going to talk about, but I think it is important because a lot of people in this industry don't talk about money and commissions because it might be kind of awkward, right? Because people just don't like talking about money. But we're going to talk about it here for a second because, look, folks, AEP brokers, Medicare Advantage, you're not getting paid until January, sometimes February, right? Ronnie James likes to say, I'm eating oodles and noodles during AEP unless I'm selling GTL, because then I can actually maybe have a small steak or a piece of chicken, right? Because y'all pay out during AEP. That's huge. That's huge. So you're talking to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You write them XYZ Medicare Advantage plan, and you write them a GTL. GTL is going to pay you pretty quickly. That is massive. That is a huge deal. For folks out there, you have to pay for gas, you have to pay for marketing. We got one of our partners, Demetri, you'll love this. He looks at his GTL commissions as his marketing budget. He said, whatever I make on GTL, I put it right back into marketing because it's honey on the biscuit, as we say here in the South. So, that's huge. And I'm really happy you mentioned that because it's important to know, because so many brokers are so accustomed to, I'm not going to get paid until the second, third week of January. With you guys, dude, make it rain during AEP.
Well, absolutely, Mike. And to kind of take it one step further, we could probably do this all day long, I guess, you and I going back and forth on this. But one of the things kind of to consider, one of the other things I hear a lot about is that I don't have time to do it during the AEP appointment. Mm-hmm. So here's my take on that. We have no issue spending an hour to talk about the MA plan, but we have a problem spending an extra 10, 15 minutes to make the same dollars that I spent for that same hour.
Yep.
So, if you put into perspective like that, I don't know. I'm thinking, talking complementary products could be a very good thing.
Demetri, growing your business this way is the same as growing it this way.
Absolutely.
What are so many sales professionals focused on? They're focused on new clients, right? Well, what's the difference between a new client and a new app? It's the same thing, right? Yep. It's two apps in the same door, right? And we can go further down the rabbit hole after AEP, talking about retention and how these products help. So we're about the 24-minute mark. Demetri, before we log off, brokers are getting prepared. It's second week of September. What do you want to leave for people, man, as you go as you're one of the leaders at GTL? What do you want to leave for Medicare brokers as they prepare for AEP?
So as you prepare for AEP, obviously let's be prepared. If you want to make sure you have your supplies ready, definitely you can go to our e-app and order supplies directly, or if you have any questions about how our e-app works and such, our sales support folks are available for you at 800-323-6907. You're a great resource for you to definitely tap into. We really do appreciate the business that you do with GTL, and and with TMG, of course, we definitely, they're right here in my heart, those boys,
Yeah, man.
yeah. So, and in turn, you guys are obviously near and dear too. So without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. And, if there's anything we can do to help, feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to help and talk about it.
That's awesome. Well, Demetri, I thank you for being our guest today. Thank you for everything you do and the team at GTL does. We plan on having another big year with y'all. A lot of changes in the MA landscape, a lot of Part B givebacks coming. So there's going to be some money freed up in seniors' budgets. So great opportunity, folks, to offset some of that and reinvest it into a complementary plan. So Demetri, thank you. You're the man. Thank you, GTL. And hey, there you have it. Demetri from GTL, the man, the myth, the legend. Appreciate you, my man.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. We'll see you.
Take care.